So I am saying to you, if you are impassioned by this cause, you cannot narrowly confine yourself to this cause. You have to think in terms of the broader civil liberties. Because without those broader civil liberties, you cannot speak. If you cannot speak, you cannot persuade. But I don't want to sound very negative, because I'm going to name you some more countries. And I'll show you that, you know, if you look at some other countries that have abolished the death penalty, you have hope. It is not that Herculean a task. It can be done. Hong Kong. Hong Kong had its last execution in the 1960s, and then it was abolished in, I think, 1993. Do you think that typical Chinese people in Hong Kong are a lot different from our typical Chinese people in Singapore who are always all out for revenge? All the Chinese drama serials. No, similar society, similar cultural mores. The British, you know, thank God they don't have democracy. Hey, we don't have democracy either. So hey, there we go. The British, before they left, said, no death penalty. We cannot trust Beijing with capital punishment. And so they just abolished it in 1993, 4 years before they handed over. And what happens? Did the Hong Kongers jump up after 1997 and say, we want it back? Good old Chinese culture. Kill, kill, kill. No. They just got used to it. So, you know, it shows that, you know, sometimes when it looks as if people hold this idea of the death penalty as an important tool, they're not that invested in it. If some strong man, you know, benevolent dictator comes around and says, no more, people just roll over and say, well, maybe it's not so important after all. So it can be done. Philippines. They abolished it in 1987 after they chucked out Ferdinand Marcos. Then they had this thing called freedom, which meant people were robbed and killed and raped and so forth. And then they reimposed the death penalty. And then after that, I think when, was it Aquino? Arroyo came to power, she said, no, I'm a good Catholic. No more. Abolished it. And you know, in the Philippines, the crime rate is quite bad. Huh? Hope there are no Filipinos here. But is there a great outcry to reintroduce it? No. People just accept that. Okay, that's how it is. So they're not all that. So when you really go out and you really test people, be encouraged. All right? The people who are in favor of death penalty are actually really few and far between. The vast majority of people are just accepting the status quo and they will acquiesce to change. Africa. The little book again. 6 countries out of 53. Only 6 countries out of 53 actively use the death penalty. So it is quite possible for people who have not reached high economic levels of development to accept the fact that no, this is just not acceptable to use this tool. Brazil, last execution, 1876. And you know, you always hear of drug crimes and slum killings and all that in Brazil, right? They have a pretty bad crime rate in the big cities, I mean, not in the small towns. Rio de Janeiro. Anyway, they abolished the death penalty, I think, in 1954 or something like that, and they've not had it since. And they can live with it. You know, even with murders on the streets, drug trafficking in Brazil. I mean, the whole society doesn't necessarily think that you must have it. There are other ways of solving the problem. All right? So I'm not saying, you know, we can live with that, lots of murder and all that. No, but other societies have come around to realize that it is not an essential tool. We don't need it. And the only people who go around demanding that we have it are people who have an idea to defend. And to them, that idea is more important than life. The idea that it must be an eye for an eye, a life for a life. If you touch my daughter, honor killing. My honor is more important than your life. These are the ideas that get people. Alright? So people, go out today, please. Alright? Spread the message. Okay, great, you're all convinced. Got plenty of arguments here. Go out against your fellow Singaporeans. Oh, okay, against is not the word. Go out to your fellow Singaporeans. Alright? Test the limits of your freedom of speech. Speak up. Try. Alright? But don't think it's so difficult, because it can be done. Lots of other societies have done it. You will find that it looks like a huge, big opponent out there against you. We have the state, we have entrenched attitudes, we have 5,000 years of Chinese culture, we don't know how many thousand years of Indian culture, you know, burn, burn, burn. But really, when push comes to shove, it's not that important to people. That is what our international data shows us. So do it and start today, please. Try with the life of your Wukong. Thank you.
Before we invite the floor to ask questions, I would like to invite Yong's brother, Yong Yun Leong, to come forward. He speaks Mandarin, and maybe Jared, you can translate for those who can't understand Mandarin.
Yong Wei Kong.
I'm really grateful for all your support that you're showing for my brother Yong Wei Kong.
首先呢，我想对新加坡的总统跟新加坡的人民们道歉，是我弟弟的罪错。
Firstly, I would like to apologize to the President and the people of Singapore for my brother's wrongdoing in this land.
Okay, 因为很遗憾，这个事情发生在我家人身上，我弟弟所犯的罪错。
I am very regretful that this has happened in my family and from my family.
因为伟光他从小就来自这个破碎的家庭。
Because Wei Kong since young has came and grown up from a broken family.
一个在教导不足的教育下。
Under poor supervision from his.
Then 就慢慢开始来了吉隆坡工作。
And from then, under poor supervision, he grew up, and then he ventured into KL on his own to seek a living.
他所认识的那些都是流氓分子在吉隆坡。
And the people he know are people of the thuggish sort, the gangsters, people who are up to no good.
Then 就在所谓的大哥的介绍之下，就开始慢慢接触到毒品。
Okay, and under the influence and position of his so-called big brother in this group that he's associated with, he has begun to lead a life on the other side of the law.
在那个老板的教化的引诱、金钱引诱之下，这样杨伟光就慢慢渐渐的开始接触毒品，这份工作。
Through the lure and the incentive that the boss is offering to him in terms of money and power and status, Wei Kong has gradually stepped up his involvement in this life of crime.
在这个所谓的大哥的引诱下，就开始从跑腿，就是说从跑腿转到收账，慢慢的才开始送这个礼物。
First, he was not involved with drugs. First, he was just a runner, delivering messages for this boss. But gradually, he became more and more involved, and eventually became a delivery boy of parcels whose contents you are not even clear about.
在这个金钱的引诱下，还有这种恶劣的环境之下，我弟弟开始慢慢的从马来西亚就送货来新加坡。
Okay, as the incentive for him to do such delivery grows, he began to increase his range of activity from within Malaysia alone. He began to venture over to overseas, like Singapore, where he made his deliveries.